The Echoes Maeve Binchy and Irish Writers Festival is now in its third year, and the title Echoes is especially fitting because, as many will know, Echoes was the title of Maeve's highly successful second novel. It was essential to have the festival here in Dalkey because the whole air breathes creativity around here, and as a lot of people will say, you feel Maeve's presence in the town, and I know we're going to feel Maeve's presence through all the talks today and all the speakers, and we're delighted to have Gordon and the Binchy family, and of course all of the writers, performers and the local and international audience who come to Dalkey for just this one weekend to celebrate Maeve and everything to do with Maeve and Irish writers.
Well, Echoes is a festival with Maeve Binchy at its heart, and this year we were looking at the idea of community in contemporary Ireland and what community means to writers and how community comes through in their work.
It incorporated everything that Maeve thought was good about Ireland and that we all think is so wonderful about Ireland. Family, friends, relations, that constant sense of community which is being lost in so many other places and in today's world. Friendship is the gold vein that runs through all her books, how friendship overcomes almost everything.
You couldn't really have a festival about Maeve Binchy without talking about home and community, because that's in a sense what all of her writing was about. I mean, the fact that she stayed living in Dalkey all the time, that she stayed living in Dublin. I love that story of the Oprah Winfrey team coming over to film her and just being amazed that she lived in this house. Now, we're in Dalkey, so it's fancy, but that they couldn't believe someone as successful as her hadn't gone off and bought some huge mansion on a hill somewhere.
Pick your poison. There's people who are fans of Maeve Binchy. There are people of Maeve Binchy's contribution to Dalkey and how it's helped define Dalkey as a centre for kind of literary excellence. There's people who like books, there are people who love literary festivals.
I travelled all the way from Germany to be here for this weekend for the festival. I'm actually sitting beside a lady who knew Maeve Binchy, and last night during the aches and pains I was sitting behind Gordon Snell as well, and I must say I am a bit starstruck then, and I'm like, wow, this is incredible. Like, people actually knew her, and all her spirit is transpiring through the people here today, which is really, really moving. I love that.
It's wonderful that this tradition continues about having echoes in honour of Maeve, because she had such an influence on other writers and was very helpful to other writers, and was very anxious to help them in their careers as well as her, writing her own.
She was somebody who talked to everybody that ever came near her, and that atmosphere of kind of informality and warmth is something that I would associate with her.
Well, of course, the starting point of our panel discussion today was that Maeve loved to travel, and in fact her career as a writer started abroad because she was, as a young woman, staying on a kibbutz in Israel, and she's writing letters home, and her dad was so impressed with them that he cut out the Dear Daddy bit at the top and he sent them off to a national newspaper, and that was it. A beautiful career had begun, and I think she believed that you had to move away to understand your home place better, and she never stopped travelling.
To be in between all of the amazing speakers and the amazing writers, it was an upgrade for me and an honour to be truly sitting amongst them all today. You can have a huge festival and no one knows what they're talking about and no one knows what book is on the shelf. But to have such valuable writers and such valuable books on the shelves today, that was a number one for me.
Maeve is as relevant today as she ever was, because she wrote about all the changes in Irish society. And I think people sometimes overlook that in the beautiful way she did it. They thought, oh, maybe this is a lovely, cosy story. No, this story was, a piece of artwork written by a genius.
I'm really very, very honored to be part of Echoes. I knew Maeve well, and I loved her and admired her work. And for an Irish American, in a way, she gave us access to contemporary Ireland, which was fantastic.
To be part of a festival that celebrates Maeve Binchy's writing is very special. Maeve was very much part of my teenage years and my growing up reading her columns in the Irish Times, and I was thinking about her today when I was eavesdropping on conversations on the train I was on, and I was thinking, as a writer, that's very much something that I have taken from Maeve Binchy.
and every time I do that, I sort of silently thank her for that tip.
Festivals like this that will bring writers from all different backgrounds together, and I think that allows us to grow as a community of writers and artists and storytellers, but it allows the diversity to positively impact those spaces.
It is my first time to take part in Echoes, and I'm very honoured and delighted to be asked to do it. I'm reading from this book called Maeve's Times, and a really nice, really funny story about a time that she went skiing, and I actually howled when I read it because it was so similar to my own experience. Oh, I think it's hugely important to do this. I mean, this is her home, and she's just, you know, a national treasure who was so loved. And I think it's really important to mark that, and it should be marked here and not anywhere else. You can feel her in the atmosphere, you know, it's good.